the American Express Gold Card. It's one of those so-called workhorse credit cards that earns great rewards rates on some everyday categories, namely groceries and dining. These are categories that a lot of people have a lot of spending in. I mean, everyone has to eat, right? But last year, they increased the annual fee on the Gold Card to $325, and they also added a new Resi credit and Dunkin' credits. So it's that time again. I want to go through my spending on this card and see if I still come out profitable. In this video, I'm going to tell you, is the Amex Gold Card still worth it in 2025? Hey credit warriors, welcome to the show. My name is Ben Hedges, aka the Credit Shifu, and on this channel, I cover US credit cards and personal finance. If you like the sound of that, do subscribe, and this video is brought to you by Cook Unity, but more on that later. So in past videos on if cards are worth it, I normally add up all of the points earned and credits used from the previous year. So in this case, that would be 2024. But this year, since we are in mid-July, we are basically halfway through the year already. And I've had the points added from my June statement, but not July yet. So most of the data in my Amex account should be for the first 6 months of the year. Thus, I'm going to use a different methodology to past years. I will look at how many points and how many credits I've used in the first half of 2025, and then I'm going to double it to get a projected number for the whole year, and we'll see if we came out on top versus the annual fee. Now this year, I actually did a lot less spending at restaurants and on groceries than I did last time I made this video, which would have used data from 2023. That year, I spent over $6,000 at restaurants, and at grocery, I earned 19,000 points. With just a quick look at the video, not sure how much I spent. It's in that video somewhere, but 19,000 points, I probably spent around $5,000 since it's 4 points per dollar on grocery. But this year, I've definitely been spending less. The office I rent provides lunch and dinner as part of the package, and my kids eat at school and my wife eats at her job, so I haven't been spending that much in those two categories. It's going to be interesting to see if the card is still worth it despite lower spend. But first, let's look at my use of the credits in 2025. So here are the credits I used in my first 6 months of 2025, and then we'll double them to get the amount for the whole year. So for the Resi credit, I've used $50 so far, and so that's just for the first half of the year. I've got 6 months to use the rest, so we'll double that to $100. For the Dunkin' credit, I used $43.86 in the first half of the year. Actually, I think that includes $4 from July, so we'll just double that. We'll just say that I'm going to be using the entire $84 for the year, okay? So that's $84. The dining credit, I didn't use any of it in the first 6 months, and so double zero is, well, zero, okay? We'll just say I used none of that for the whole year. It's really hard to find places to use that, especially since they got rid of Shake Shack. I used to really like going there. There's a rest stop on the way to New York City that has a Shake Shack, but Shake Shack's not part of the credit anymore, unfortunately. Five Guys is, but it's nowhere near as good. Then we have the Uber credit, which there isn't a thing tracking it in your Amex account. You have to look at your Uber account, but I know for a fact that I use it every single month, okay? As soon as the month rolls around, I always get takeout from this Japanese place I really like. So that's $60 for the first half of the year. We'll double that, that's $120. So the total for the first half is $153.86. If we double all of that and actually we round it so that the Dunkin' credit is $84 exactly, we get $304 worth of credits that I have used. So you can see from the amount of credits I'm using, I'm almost covering the annual fee, which is $325. So the card is just costing me $21 per year if we don't include any of the values from the points I earned. But obviously, I do get value from those points. So let's look at that next.
But first, I'm a busy guy, and planning and cooking meals can be time-consuming and expensive, especially if the rest of the family is not at home. That's why I have been enjoying meal boxes from Cook Unity. They deliver a week's worth of lunches or dinners right to your door in temperature-controlled packaging, which keeps it really fresh. These meals are created by top chefs from some of the best restaurants in the country. One of my favorites right now is this. Grilled chicken with carrot thyme puree by Andre Mendez, a top chef from New York City. And guys, Cook Unity is actually offering my viewers 50% off your first order. Just click the link below and use the code BENHEDGES50 at checkout. Now these meals come freshly prepared, not frozen, and they are fully cooked. That means you can heat them in the microwave if you're in a rush, or you can use my preferred method, the oven. It takes a bit longer, but it's really worth it, and it really feels like you're having restaurant food at home. There are hundreds of options and meals to fit different dietary requirements like vegan, gluten-free, etc. And the price of these meals is very competitive. It can even work out cheaper than buying all the ingredients from a grocery store. Supermarkets don't generally do single-person portions, and leftover ingredients can go to waste when cooking just for one. But with Cook Unity, you can get individual portions of restaurant quality meals crafted by top chefs sent directly to your door. You can even heat them in the packaging so there's no waste and no washing up. So why not try them out for yourself? Cook Unity is offering my viewers 50% off their first order. So click the link in the description below and use code BenHedges50 to try it out.
All right, guys, let's look at the points I've earned. Now, in recent years, I've shown you how much I've spent on the card, and then from that, we've figured out how much points or how many points I have earned. But since we are halfway through the year, pretty much exactly, I'm just going to work off of the display of points that I've earned so far this year and then double that, okay? So if you want to know the dollar amount that I'm spending in 2025, you can just take the total amount of points on grocery or dining and divide that by 4, since those are 4x categories. So let's have a look at how many points I've earned in the first half of the year in each category, and I will put 3 different values for those points based on the different types of redemptions that you can do. So at US supermarkets, I've earned 11,308 points in the first half of 2025, and you can see the values there. I'm going to talk more about that in a bit. At global restaurants, I've earned 7,356, although it's global restaurants. Most of the restaurants are in the US that I've been dining at. The name of the category is global restaurants. Airfare, 0. Amex Travel, 0. That's because I would use the Amex Platinum for both of those, okay? Airfare on the Platinum is 5 points per dollar as opposed to 3 points per dollar on the Gold. And on Amex Travel, prepaid hotels on the Platinum are 5 points per dollar too. So if I'm going to use any card, it's going to be the Platinum for those categories. Then other purchases, I've actually earned 5,965 points, and that's a 1 point per dollar category. So I've actually spent almost $6,000 in those categories. Now I'm actually surprised that I used the card for so many purchases that just earned 1 point per dollar. Not very professional for a credit shifu, but I know why I did this, and it's because this is a card that I check regularly, so I feel very comfortable putting a lot of spend on it, since I know there is no way I'm going to forget about it and end up paying interest because I haven't paid the balance off in full. Then we have an additional 15,000 points bonus, and I'm not sure what that is. Maybe I did a referral, or maybe I got some additional points from an Amex offer, but hey, we'll add that in anyway, since, one referral, it's not out of the question that people in the audience could do that too, all right? So bonus earn is 15,000 points. All right, we're already seeing some pretty good numbers, but that's only how many points I earned in the first half of 2025. Now let's double those numbers to get the projected numbers for the whole year, and then we'll add them together and get the total value. So here are those numbers doubled. US supermarkets would be 22,626 points. Global restaurants would be 14,712 points. And other purchases is going to be 11,930 points. I won't double that 15,000 bonus points earned, since I don't know if there will be an opportunity to do a referral or use a similar offer, whatever that was. I still don't even know what it is. But anyway, I don't know if there will be an opportunity for something like that in the second half of 2025. So if we add the value of all those points together at 1 cent per point, we get $642.68. Then we add in the credits for the first 6 months and what I project myself using for the rest of 2025. That comes to $304, and that takes us to $946.68. Then we deduct the annual fee of $325, and that takes us back down to $621.68. So you can see that even if I use the points in the most basic way, travel portal airfare redemptions at 1 cent per point, I am getting over $600 in value out of the card for 2025 after deducting the annual fee. And by the way, I pay this card off in full every month, so I don't pay a penny of interest. I still think of these cards as charge cards, actually. I know they're not anymore. You can actually go into debt on them and pay interest. But in my mind, all of those Amex cards with a little Centurion guy on them, the gold, the platinum, etc., They're all charge cards that you have to pay off every month. But that isn't the end of it, guys, since there are 2 more ways that I like to redeem points. One is cashing them out through the Charles Schwab Amex Platinum, which I also have, and you get 1.1 cents per point if you do that. That takes us to $706.94 for the points. Then we add the $304 for the credits, which takes us to $1,010.94. Then deduct the $325 annual fee. It takes us back down to $685.94. Then lastly, let's do the same calculation at 2 cents per point, which is what the points guy currently values Amex points at. And to get that value, typically you're going to need to be transferring the points out to transfer partners like airlines and booking premium cabins. You get more value when you transfer points out, but also there are often bonuses that they run when you transfer, okay? Like right now, there's a 30% bonus when you transfer to British Airways. I transferred 7,000 points out this morning and got 9,100 points in my BA account. So at 2 cents per point, I am getting $1,285.36 for the points. Then we add the credits, $304. That takes us to $1,589.36. Then we deduct the annual fee of $325, which takes us back down to $1,264.36. That is the upper estimate of the value I would get out of the card this year. So guys, I think you can see for 2025, it is indeed worth me keeping the Amex Gold Card. Even with the higher annual fee and the fact that I didn't use the dining credit at all, it does not matter because the total value when I add everything together still brings me out on top. I think it's important to do this math every year for any card you have that has an annual fee. There's no point keeping a card that you don't get value out of. Let me know how much value you got out of your Amex Gold in the comments down below, and give this video a like if you want to see me do the same calculation for the Amex Platinum. That one might not turn out so well. All right, guys, that's the video for today. Don't forget to get 50% off your first order with Cook Unity through the link down below. Just use code BENHEDGES50 at checkout. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.